Income or wealth effects, on the other hand, are changes in behavior that arise solely because of a change in income, not because of a change in opportunity costs. As a result, we have to observe two parallel budgets in our graphs in order to be able to identify an income or a wealth effect, because it is only when budgets are parallel that there's no change in opportunity costs. But of course, once we've drawn in our compensated budget, we have two parallel budgets in our graph: the final magenta budget and the green compensated budget. We also know the optimal bundle on the green compensated budget, which is bundle B. Therefore, as we now apply the concepts of normal or inferior goods, we will refer to bundle B as the relevant starting bundle, and then consider the move to the magenta budget as a pure increase in income. In particular, we'll ask where on the magenta budget constraint we might end up if gasoline is a normal good, and where we might end up if gasoline is an inferior good. A normal good is a good whose consumption increases as income increases. An inferior good is a good whose consumption decreases as income increases. At the lower green income, we're at bundle B, so we'll draw a vertical line up from bundle B to divide between normal goods and inferior goods. Since quasi-linear goods are the borderline goods between normal and inferior goods, we know that if gasoline were a quasi-linear good, we would end up exactly above bundle B on the magenta budget constraint, with a dashed green line intersects that constraint. If we end up to the right of that green dashed line, then gasoline consumption went up with an increase in income, and gasoline is therefore a normal good. If we end up to the left of bundle B, on the other hand, then gasoline consumption went down with an increase in income from the green to the magenta budget, and gasoline is therefore an inferior good. Now notice two differences between what we've done here and what we did in Chapter 7 for an increase in the price of gasoline. First, notice that the substitution effect and the income or the wealth effect now point in opposite directions for gasoline when gasoline is a normal good. In Chapter 7, they pointed in the same direction. So you want to avoid memorizing where income and substitution effects point depending on whether goods are normal goods or inferior goods, because it depends on how the budget arises, whether it arises from an exogenous income or whether it arises from an endogenous income. Second, notice that we have not differentiated between gasoline being a regular inferior versus a Giffen good. This is because in order for us to observe a Giffen good, we have to face a situation that looks like a change in the price of the good under an exogenously given budget. Here, while it is the price of gasoline that changed, the change in the budget constraint in panel A actually looks like a decrease in the price of consumption if we viewed income as exogenously given. Thus, we don't observe the conditions needed for us to be able to identify gasoline as a Giffen good. All we can tell is whether gasoline is a normal or an inferior good. That doesn't mean that gasoline in principle couldn't be a Giffen good. It's just that if it was, we wouldn't be able to tell. It would just lie somewhere in the range of where gasoline is an inferior good.